of the Galaxy International Pageant. She has landed this morning from America. Literally picked her up at 7 AM from the airport, and of course she's had no sleep, and I was like, well, time to work, and thought we would do a little Q&A with some questions that you have been sending over. I have no idea what the questions are, neither does Maria. The girls have kept it completely hidden from us, so Hannah is stood with a very secretive list behind the camera right now. So we're excited to see what you've got for us. I should add, Maria is freezing. She's come over from Texas.
It's so cold.
So yeah, over to you guys.
Yeah. Qualities that I prefer, I don't necessarily look for because I don't have anything to do with the selection process. But what I would like in a queen is somebody who has a really good personality, truly just a sincere person in general, loves to promote the system, has a passion for what she's doing, and wants to be a role model to other girls. And those are pretty much what I usually hope for every year, that we get stuff with. Like we really do want, I know it sounds cliche, but we really do want the nice girl.
A nice girl, please.
We want the nice girl. We want a hardworking girl, and just someone with a great personality, because I think we're super down to earth. Yeah. And anyone that knows me, I'm a funny person. I mean, I will get on the floor and just, you know, get down and dirty. Yeah, it's just, I'm just a regular person. So I want to be able to do that with my queens. And so yeah, that's usually someone that we hope we end up with.
Definitely. And I'm the exact same in the fact that, you know, the power is with the judges. So we're like, please, like, we don't say we want a blonde, we want a brunette, we want to mix it up and have someone this tall, this height. We sort of put our power over to them. And when we say we want like a nice heart, like, as someone who just everyone, I always think a really nice quality, whatever the system, not just Galaxy, is when the other girls are happy that that girl won, then that's a good sign that you've got an amazing winner, because that means that she's done something right, not just in front of the judges, but to the whole of the competition as well. So, and you can see even with the Galaxy winners, no two are ever the same. Personality-wise, you can have someone who's quieter, and then you can have someone who's completely over the top and eccentric. I always use Sarah Pritchard, our former Mrs. Galaxy, as an example of that, because, yeah.
Love you, Sarah.
Love you, really, deep down.
Yes.
Deep
Absolutely.
down. More and more, I realise that I am just a massive pageant fan. I love pageants, and so when taking away the organising of it, I love watching them, seeing the show, watching the girls grow. And I think that's what keeps me motivated, because trust us, despite what you think, if it was for the money, we would not be doing it. No. I know that you all count up the sponsorship fees and think, oh wow, but you have no idea just how much a stage light costs. Never mind a flight to America, and then if Maria ever has any money left over, she definitely spends it on things like cake and gifts for the queens and things like that. So
retreat gifts.
So I know that is definitely not for the money, but just I love it. I love being part of the girls' lives, seeing how they grow. There's girls who I met when they were maybe 10 and now they're 20, and that's just amazing to see. In fact, Kelsey Poulton, the reigning Miss Galaxy, I think I met her when she was like 14. Now she's 21 and she's Miss Galaxy. You know, she competed for many years and didn't win, but it's amazing to be part of that journey throughout her life. So,
and to see that.
Yeah.
And as a director, it just makes you so proud that you've known her since that time, that beginning. I would say for me, it has changed because I've been doing this for a long time. But when I get messages from girls that say how this system has truly allowed them to grow and has changed them as an individual, given them the confidence that they need, and even helped them outside of pageantry, I think that for me it's probably the most rewarding, and it's what I like the most about being a director. It is a lot of work. It definitely isn't for the money. Like my husband says, this is my hobby. This is not he's like, you don't make any money, so you need to call it a hobby, because it is what it is. But it's something that we definitely do because we're passionate about it. We love the commotion
Yeah.
and all the pageantry of it all, pun intended. But at the end of the day, it's, you know, when you create lifelong friendships too with certain girls, like I've just been friends with, from my Belleza Latina system with Tanya. She was my first Belleza Latina queen. That's 20 years of friendship, you know. And for Galaxy as well, just being friends with some of the amazing queens that I've had and are now part of my family, that's probably the luckiest thing. And to have amazing directors like Holly, all my directors, you know, who work hard for all of you, they make my job easy and they make me love what I do.
Except when I text and it's like 3 a.m. in Texas and she's not turned her phone on silent.
Yeah,
except that.
It's okay.
But I think, and that's what I think we've done with the industry, is pageantry, especially in the UK. I don't know whether it was always the same in America, but I think it's taken just such a huge step forward with how it's really helping people's confidence, empowerment. It's not just about one particular shape, one particular size, one particular hairstyle. There's a whole mix of it. And more, I'm getting those same messages, you know, outside of pageantry. It's really helped me in this way. And, you know, you can cry reading them.
Yeah,
it's nice to see.
It's really nice to see.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you see all that stuff and you see the impact that you've had on somebody's life, I think it gives us that boost of confidence. It gives us that push on the days where we really don't like being a director sometimes.
There's some days when we don't.
Yeah, so those...
But they're few and far between.
Those are the things that keep us going.
Yeah, definitely.
The reason I got into directing was because as a Latina, I seriously, and competing in the USA system, even though I'm a former Massachusetts Teen USA contestant, delegate, I did not feel that I was judged as my American counterparts. I didn't feel I was judged the same. I was always looked at differently because I was different. I was dark haired and not blonde. I wasn't as tall. So I said that one day I would like, you know, to be part of a system where I felt comfortable enough to be myself, and not to be not so much ashamed of being Latina, but where I was able to express that with confidence and pride with other girls. And I ended up becoming a single mother when I was 23, which back then, I'm 52 now, so back then there was no in-between pageants. You were a Miss or Mrs. or teen, that was it. So I was not able to compete in pageants. And I thought that that was completely and utterly unfair. And I said, I'm gonna change that one day. And I did that. I did that with Belleza Latina. We were the first system in the US, and in most
crazy.
South American countries, like in South America and even in Puerto Rico to this day, it's the only system that allows single mothers to compete. So yeah, that's how I transitioned over to the other side of the fence.
So I started directing with the competitions just because I enjoyed competing in pageants so much. I always say I was just brought up in the wrong era. My mum used to make me watch Miss World every year. We'd sit and score our favourites and we'd choose who was going to win. I remember one year when I was 12, I really wanted my belly button pierced. I don't know if you know this story. So I really wanted my belly button pierced. Now I wasn't even allowed my ears pierced until I was 16, and I managed to get that lower through a lot of begging and persuasion when I was 9. So to even consider having this pierced when I was 12 I was nearly 13, completely out of the question. So we're watching Miss World, and my dad said, oh, well, if you can guess who the winner's going to be, then you can have your belly button pierced. There's like 90 girls. Oh, well, thank you, Miss India. So, yes.
Stop! You did not!
Yes, I did. So my dad was like, I can't go back. I can't say no. I can't teach her this life lesson. So the next day, he went with me and I got my belly button pierced. I was in so much trouble at school. So much. It's quite a strict school. So I have it out now actually. But yeah, so I always loved pageants. I'd just been brought up watching them. And for me, it was natural. When I found out about the first competition I entered, I was like, oh my goodness, well, I have to try it and see what this is like, because I've always watched it on TV. And then when I sort of aged out and, you know, I wasn't winning, I decided, well, I'll go on the other side. And 15 years later, or however many years later, still here. Thanks, guys. For the UK finals, I would just say, focus on yourself. It's so often we hear, oh, but have you seen so-and-so, she's done this or she's done that. We're all different, and it can almost sound like a bit like a broken record, like be you, don't compare yourself to others, but it's so, so true, because we find that when they actually just are themselves and know that they can't look back on anything and have any regrets because they were true to themselves, then that's when the girls tend to do the best and just be natural with it, rather than being a pageant robot and saying what you think that we want to hear, maybe sometimes.
And on my end, I would have to say, sort of be yourself type of thing, but more so, don't pretend to be someone in front of the judges that you're not. A lot of girls will say things that they think the judges want to hear, or say things that, oh, I know Maria would love this if I did this, or if I did that, or whatever. But then if you win, none of what you said is actually true, and you're doing none of what you said you would do. That to me is very upsetting. I mean, at that point, we can't do anything about it, but it says a lot about a girl's character, you know, who does that. So on my end, you know, just go in there being yourself truly, and you'd be surprised how enough that is. You honestly, you would be surprised. You don't need to put on a facade for us. You don't need to pretend to be someone you're not. You just need to love what you're doing and show us that you're ready for this job, and that's it.
And I'd also sort of add on to that, because I completely agree with all of that, is sort of the negative side, which my mum always shouts at me for saying, but the odds are against you. You're probably not going to win. You know, there might be a 1 in 20, 1 in 50 chance of you winning. So if you only focus on that and let it consume you, then you'll walk away with a lot less if you don't win. Because if you go in and have the right attitude, make friends, have a laugh. You know, I remember when like Maria talks about her Miss Teen USA days, and you had so many friends, and I think one of your good friends was the winner, and that was what you can really take away from it. But if you don't focus on that, and you only focus on the winning, and you don't win, which you probably won't, is the reality of it, statistically, then you're going to be left disappointed, thinking like, well, what did I gain from it? And that's when you'll look back on the whole pageantry experience with a more negative association. So the win is the bonus.
That's my roommate at Teen USA. We got back to our room and she was crying hysterically, and I'm like, why are you crying? And she's like, because I didn't win, I didn't even place. And I'm like, so what about all the 3 weeks that we spent here rehearsing, meeting famous people, having all these celebrities, all the gifts they gave us? This is me 17 years old. I'm like, oh my God, we got so much stuff. Look at all the gifts they gave us and all the fun stuff we did.
Well,
and we were on television.
And
all she was worried about was what her friends were gonna think when she got back home, because she did not make top 10. And I told her, who cares what they think? You were on national television. Where were they back in school? We got 3 weeks off of school, you know. But yeah, they focused on the wrong thing. And even after this amazing experience that we had, she cried and thought like she was like nothing. Like this is just. And I was like, oh my God, what about all the stuff we did? All the good stuff. So yeah, I would definitely, that's absolutely true. Enjoy the process. Yes, it kind of stinks not being the one that was chosen, but try again.
Everything happens for a reason, and I know that, you know, it can sound cliche, but I think I find it hard when the winner's announced, because I know what all the girls are feeling who don't get it. I get that. So when people go, Holly doesn't care, like, trust me, I have deliberated over the whole interval as to whether I can just leave.
We care. We just
like,
can't say anything.
I'm like, Dion, if I just go now, does anyone need me? And she's like, yeah, but you've got the results. You don't need me now. Like, I can go because I know, because I was the girl, and I know that feeling, that sick, like, sort of, I did everything. But yes, you did everything, but so did the winner. And I think that's so important to remember, that, like, just however hard you worked, it doesn't take away from what the winner's work did, and your work is no more valid than anyone else's. It was just that day, that was the way the results panned out. But my mum said to me, when I had that feeling in her tummy, it's also, we know what the parents feel like, because my mum's been there sort of like trying to think, okay, well, I need to just explain it's all going to happen for a reason. But we wouldn't be doing this. Like, we wouldn't have this. I wouldn't be, you know, one of Maria's directors if I'd have won the one that meant everything to me. And my life would have been different. Not saying it would have been better or worse, but I'm really happy now. So that's what matters.
One is hoping we get enough girls to cover all the expenses, and just logistics sometimes. We've been at the same venue for so many years, and this year we're going to actually be in Chicago. So one of the biggest questions I keep getting from directors is like, so is orientation going to be on this day or this day? So then is finals on this day or that day? Do we go home this day?
I mean,
31st.
Definitely the Canada director asking a lot of these questions as well. So not just the UK.
Not just Holly.
I'm reading between the lines of the messages through with the director. It's not just me.
You know, so it's just all of that. And then there's certain things that this year I'm going to do a little bit differently. So, yeah. And then next year we might, we're planning, who knows?
Watch the space.
We might not be on American soil next year. Just gonna leave it at that.
But you do still need a passport if you live in the UK, so don't worry. So yeah, so as a director, I think preparing for a pageant is, we both put really high levels of expectation on ourselves. So we want it to be the best. And so that's what I find really difficult, because I just want it to be perfect. Now as a contestant, on to flip it, preparing for an international pageant, I don't know what the most difficult thing would be for them. Because
I would think that wardrobe. I think wardrobe is something that I get a lot of questions on from girls, just in private messaging. What do you think about this? Is this Galaxy enough? I get that question. No, we don't have a Galaxy type of wardrobe. Are we glam? Absolutely. Are we, you know,
fabulous?
Yes, absolutely. But we've had winners like May. Mayanne won in a simple, strapless, no beading, simple, straight gown. No beading. Hair up. Yep, hair up in a bun. Necklace, and that's it. Jewelry. Very simple dress. Would somebody call that a Galaxy dress? Probably not. But that's just it. She carried that dress so well that it did not matter. So wear something that makes you feel fabulous, and it'll allow you to shine on stage. That's the look you want. That's what you want to go for.
And I think the other side of preparation, wardrobe aside, is like the mental preparation. Because I think a lot of people, and this is for any pageant, not just Galaxy, they have in their mind that they're going on holiday for a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. I was guilty of it when I competed. And it's hard work. You know, you're going to have early mornings, late nights, and I feel like there's no matter how many times you say it, no one really believes it. And sometimes I hear girls moaning in rehearsals in the UK, and I kind of want to be like, oh, no.
And you're like, wait till you get to America.
Wait till you go to Miss World or Miss Universal, Galaxy International, Miss Earth. You're going to have hours and hours of rehearsals. And it can be good fun, but, you know, have your flats in as well. So I would say it's kind of the mental preparation for being prepared to be tired. I remember Sarah Pritchard, just to name drop again, has said to us, like, you have no idea how tiring it is. Like, yes, I do. I'm organising it. Like, I know how tiring it is.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's tiring, but for a good reason. So I'd just say it's not a negative, but just be aware that it's harder work.
Yeah. Because even sometimes Marty will tell me, he's like, you have to make sure you sleep, you have to make sure you sleep. And I'm like, I'll sleep after it's over.
Yeah.
Because I'm just constantly on the go. I mean, that's not a great thing either. But you're so in the moment, and you're so...
Your brain doesn't stop.
Yeah, it doesn't
Even if, like,
stop.
you literally, like,
So...
I'll dream about the pageant, I'll be there, and I'll be like, there's no crowns, and all these things. Like, I would say it's okay to just accept yourself, and I mean that more on a personality basis than a physical basis. Just that sometimes we might say the wrong thing, or you might make a mistake, and it's okay to say, oh, I'm sorry about that, and if it irritated someone, you deal with it and you move on. But just knowing that it's okay to be proud of who you are. There's going to be ups and downs all along the way, and 20-year-old Holly was competing in a few pageants, but don't worry, you're still going to be involved in them a decade plus later, just without a crown. But so many things I'd probably tell my 20-year-old self. Change your hair pattern is what I would tell my 20-year-old self.
I would tell my 20-year-old self that it's okay for someone else to think that you are not worthy, or that you are not enough for them. But even knowing that, know that that is not your truth. You are enough for you, and you are worthy, and it's okay if somebody else doesn't think you are. And the reason I say that is because I went through a period of depression where I was fired from a job that I absolutely loved. And Holly, as my witness, for those of you that don't know, I actually considered giving up pageantry for this job because I loved it that much. It was allowing my creativity to flourish. I was giving it all I had, and it's what I became super invested in. And I was like, that's it. I found my dream job. This is what I really want to do. And I got fired because I was at internationals on my vacation, and I was not taking calls from work, and we had a big meeting coming up, and they fired me because of my pageant. So that was a tough time. I took it as a personal attack on me. Just as a person, I felt unworthy. I felt like, oh my gosh, how could they just toss me to the side? And if I would have known, if I could go back and tell myself something, is tell her that it's okay. Yeah. It's okay when others feel this way about you, you don't need to feel this way about you. And it would have probably helped me get through that difficult moment. Yeah, so it has nothing to do with pageants, sorry.
No, but that's good, that's good. No, it's amazing the way you've worded that. So, but I think that was the first time you came over to the UK, because I was worried about Maria. So I was like, right, you're coming over to the UK and spend some time.
Yeah, it was just tough. It was tough.
But I remember you watching the video of Matty's highlights. I don't know if you remember. We put the video highlights from the finals the year before on the big screen, and she stood there and went, this is what we created, this is what I've done. And it was like really
I started
nice
crying.
to see you sort of go, wow, what I've achieved. So.
And then the following internationals that year, you noticed the difference. You said, the old Maria is back.
She's back.
She's back. But it took a while.
Yeah.
It took a while, and so that's what I would tell my 21-year-old self, that it's okay.
So I tell mine that I need to get a new hair pattern, and you'd say that you probably have a little bit better advice. Oh,
I have too many. Anything that has to do with like
one word.
with like,
Great stuff.
you know, witches and warlocks and, you know, stuff like, yeah, I love all things witchcrafty and supernatural stuff. Yeah.
Favourite film, I'm gonna say, it's hard to pick one, so I do understand where Maria's coming from with this, but I'm just gonna go with Pretty Woman as
one of my favorites. Coffee and croissants from here, like real croissants.
Crisps, definitely any type of crisps. Favourite drink, I drink a lot of water, which is very boring. So Hannah is pulling a face at me behind the camera, so if I was giving an alternative answer, I do love a very, very light rosé wine, a very blush rosé wine. If anyone ever, wants to treat me.
Water.
Okay. As a soft drink. Okay, so my favourite soft drink
I remember
is
somebody
water.
walking into the ballroom, double fisting glasses of.
That is not me. She has me confused with another director.
But we'll go with water.
As a soft drink, because I don't drink many fizzy drink. Mine is Diana Mendoza. I just loved her on stage. She was Miss Universe 2000 and something.
I know a lot of people
Mexican.
don't like her, some, but many love her, but I have to say something about Catriona Gray.
Oh yeah.
She just seems so genuine and so
Yeah.
humble and so, I don't know, there's just something up like that you could see her in person and just hug her and she would be okay with that. So like, I feel like I know her. I don't even know why.
I also feel like this about Pia and Olivia Jordan, and I just hope they're like the opinion that I have in my mind, because I really find them really fun.
Yeah,
and
like
friendly.
I love
If I want to come
Catriona.
to the UK, any
Catriona,
people
I
that
love
live
you.
please
If
come.
you're watching, right?
Sort airfare, work it out.
Fake people.
Go deep. Hypocrites. I'm not a big fan of hypocrites at the moment. And just for something more light-hearted, when my darling son tries to draw on the walls at the moment, that's his new thing.
Cold coffee.
Oh, she's a coffee guru. I love it when my husband goes away. I have the house to myself. Liam's in bed. I get a glass of water or a glass of light blush rosé wine and put on my favourite TV programme. Probably just Friends, and just enjoy the peace.
Guilty pleasure. It used to be the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's not anymore, but that used to be my guilty pleasure. So, my husband, Marty. He's so funny. He doesn't look funny. He looks scary. Everyone thinks he's so scary because he's so big and he's so like. But Marty is the funniest guy. I promise you, he's hilarious. So I'm gonna say Marty.
Oh, that's good. I would really like to say Stuart, my husband, but he's not as funny as my son Liam. He's just coming out with, he's 2, and he's just coming out with all sorts of things.
Oh, so, it gets better.
Yeah. I've been told that the terrible 3s are even worse than the terrible 2s, so that'll be fun. Mine was working in River Island. So River Island's a shop.
Yep.
Got a Saturday job there. Then they found out I was 15, so they sent me home until I turned 16. So that was my first job.
So my first job was with a after-school program, a summer program. So we were allowed to work at 15, but we had permits and we were part of that program. But it was cleaning all of the eraser boards at schools over the summer and just cleaning up the schools. That was my first job.
I actually also was a strawberry picker when I was about 13. And we picked strawberries in the freezing rain still in summer.
They survived.
They survived, yeah. I will never ever eat what was it that you made me eat? A chocolate-covered dried prawn they made me eat in Tokyo with the not with the Miss International competition, but when we went over, and they told me it tasted really fine, and it tasted like a prawn.
It doesn't even sound fine.
It tasted like a prawn chocolate
With chocolate.
wafer. It was disgusting. I will never eat that again.
What will I never do again?
So many things.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.